Hey folks, how's it going? So I just wanted to make a quick video to show you one of my favorite tools for web design and development. It's actually an app called Local by Flywheel, and what this essentially lets you to do is create websites on the fly, and you can basically turn your own computer, your laptop, whatever you have, into a server so that you can host your own websites, and you don't need to have the server. You can do it all on your own local computer. It's like a virtual machine. So if that's something that you're looking to do, keep watching this video. I'm going to show you just how to use it and just how simple and easy it is. And the best part about this whole thing is that it's completely free. So you don't have to pay a single cent to use Local, and you can make virtually unlimited websites, keep tweaking them, keep learning. If you were interested in database or how to work with PHP, you don't have to have a live website. You can do it all right there on your own local computer. So let's take a look. Okay folks, so here we are, and when you first launch Local, you're gonna have to go through a little bit of an installation process, but as soon as you finish that, it should take you to this page. Now I'm just gonna run through all of the things that are on this dashboard and also up here. So the first thing is you can log in. So I haven't created an account, and that's also a great thing about Local, is that you don't need to create an account or anything. You can just set it up and just get started, get going. They don't need any more information from you. You just create your website and you're good to go. Now, since I haven't actually created an account, I can't tell you what's in this actual tab, but let's move forward. As you can see here, I have 4 websites, and I'll click on those and show you what they have in just a moment. Here you can connect your website to Flywheel's hosting, which is, I believe it's WP Engine, but it seems like you can ask them to connect another host. I think that's the case. Again, I haven't done that, but I'm just here to show you what's on this dashboard. So before you download the application, you can take a look at what's inside. If you click the Learn More button, it'll take you to this page where you can learn how to connect Flywheel with another hosting account. They have a beautiful website, I have to say. I really like the style and the feel of this. It's pretty simple. I like it. It's not bad. Good job, guys. All right, so moving on. What do we have here? Add-ons. So I have no idea what this is all about, this whole add-on thing. I've never installed an add-on because I really just don't need one. It does exactly what I want it to do, but I'm sure some of these add-ons are great. And question mark. Get help. So this is part of the community. If you're having any issues, you can click this button. It'll take you to the community page of Flywheel. See, check it out. It's like a form. Yeah, and this is neat. They also have a tab for WP Engine support if you are using them as your host. That's all that's on this sidebar. Really not much. There's another button here. We'll go through that in just a little bit. Well, it's just the add site button. You can also do that in a bunch of different ways, but we'll get there in just a moment. All right, now let's take a look at the top bar. By default, I have the top bar hidden on my Mac. And by the way, if you want to learn how to do that, let me just show you real quick. You go to General, and then you go to and then you go over here to automatically hide and show menu bar. Open, close, see? And it pushed everything down. I'm just going to push it right back up. But yeah, that's how you do that if you want to know. So now let's get back to Local. So we click on here. Let's take a look. Preferences. So here's a couple of cool things. Now the theme, you can change the look. So you can go from light to dark. Let's click apply. Now you have dark mode. If we X out of this, we can take a look at what it looks like on dark mode. It's neat. I like it. But for now, I'm going to go right back to where I was. Light. And I believe auto is part of that new feature in Mac OS where everything starts. You see right here, it says light, dark, and auto. This is in the generals settings of Mac, where it'll automatically change based on the time of day. So right now I have it set to auto. And this is set to auto, so it should be light, right? And later tonight, it'll get a little dark. Okay, I don't have anything to add in this section. There's nothing that I use here. New site default. This is really cool. So this is where you can set up the defaults for every single new site that you create. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, there isn't much to add. You can change the default email address that you're going to connect the website to. You can also change the directories. So, for instance, it's test website.local, you know, instead of .com. It's like the domain suffix that's going to make. By default, it's going to be local because it's local. I think it used to be dev. When I first downloaded local, it was .dev, but I think they changed that. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken. But either way, it's local. And if you want to change it to .site or something like that, or .test, you can do that from right here. You could also do that from, you know, when you're building out the website, but you could set this to every new website that you do. So I'm going to leave that as it is, and the site path. So this is also pretty important because this is where the website's going to be saved to. So if we click browse, you see that it's the local sites, and here are the 4 websites that I have that I showed you earlier. Now let's take a look at where those are saved. Okay, so if I go over here to my Mac HD, then users, then my user account, then I can go to right here, local sites. So local created a new folder in the user folder called local sites, and that's where it's storing your websites. If you want to change that, this is where you can do it. Right there, browse and pick it, and you're good to go. Just click apply. All right, exporting. Not much to say here. I think it's just the extension that it zips it. I think by default it is a zip file. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But you really don't need to. In my experience, I've never had to change it to anything else. .zip is perfectly fine. It'll export the website out of local and into local, and you can also send it across the web, etc. So advanced router mode. So this is interesting. Sometimes if the website that you're trying to build on local is having some issues, it's going to change it automatically to localhost instead of site domain. I'm not 100% what that entails. I just know that it does that. Sometimes it sees a few hiccups and says, look, we switched it up. It basically explains that right here. So if you're having issues, it's going to change it either by default, or you can do it yourself. It's just if you're having issues. But and I have had that happen, and it did switch up automatically to this, which gave me some other issues. But let's not go down that rabbit hole. If there's a fresh install, you should be fine. Show develop mode. If you want to debug and stuff like that, you can go ahead and turn that on. And blueprints. This is one of my favorite parts about this application. So what this allows you to do is to create a new website. Like you can create the perfect WordPress website, and it's got all the plugins you want. You just have it set so perfectly, and then you just save that as a blueprint, and then you can recreate websites on the fly real quick using that same exact blueprint. It's pretty awesome, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Now let's get out of here. Let's take off from preferences and services. Not much to show here. File, add a new site. You can also do that by clicking this button. Import site. So if you exported a website, you can also import a website for using this button right here. But nothing new to show there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Cool. So now I'm gonna click this button, add a local site, just to show you what it looks like when you create a new website. What's your site's name? I'm gonna say test 2 because I already have test on there. Now you can click continue, or you can click advanced options, and here you can see what I was talking about earlier. So .local instead of .dev or .something else. It did that by default. And if you changed it earlier, and if you changed it in that other tab we were at earlier, it would have shown whatever you typed in there. But right now it just says local and the site name. And then again, the site path that we talked about earlier. So local site test blah blah blah. Blueprint. And we just talked about that. So if I had that perfect WordPress website with all the pre-downloaded plugins that I wanted to use, and I knew that I wanted to use it on this type of website, maybe it's like an e-commerce website and you already have WooCommerce installed with all the ideal plugins, you could just use a blueprint and you'd be good to go. Right now, don't need anything. I'm just gonna hide that away. Continue. Preferred or custom. Preferred is the default settings. Custom is you can choose your PHP version, or you can change the database settings for MySQL. So I'm just gonna leave it just how it is. Go to preferred. Let's go back and click preferred and click continue. So now we get to choose the username, password, and the email address that you want associated with this WordPress account for it to log in properly, right? So I'm gonna say, let's say Robert. Okay, Robert is the username. The password will be You're going to type in your password there, and then you're going to put in the email address that you want associated with the account. Now, I'm going to leave this email address just like it is because I'm going to show you something else that's really cool about local. And I think you're really going to like this because we can actually access this email address through local. We didn't create a new account or anything, but it's just going to be right there, and you'll check it out. It's going to be awesome. Is this a WordPress multi-site? So you can choose yes if you have a subdirectory or a subdomain. So if you have a subdomain like shop.mystore.com or .local, you could do that there, but I do not. So I'm going to click no. And keep in mind, I didn't change the email address. I'm going to click add site. And right now it's installing all of those files that it needs to run properly onto our website. There it goes. Type in your password for your computer, not for your WordPress account. There it is. It's done. So now it looks different, right? So now we have a few new things. So we have one site running, and you can have multiple sites running at the same time, by the way. So if I click on this one and I click start, now we have two sites running. I'm just going to click the stop. Here's the test one that we did, and there's the name of our website. There's the directory of the folder that it's at. You can click on that and it'll open up the actual folder. This is the server, the PHP version, database, the version of WordPress, which is super important, right? The site name, same name as you can see here. The site domain. So you're going to use this domain on your computer. So you're basically, at this point, you're running a server on your local machine. So if you take this domain and type it into your browser, like if we go ahead and do that, test2.local, look, here it is. Here's the website that we just created right this second. Now, of course, this only lives on your local machine, but you can use this on any browser to access your website. We'll get back to that in just a second. So this is another cool thing about local. You can access your database right here. If I click open adminer, take a look at this. Here's your MySQL database for your WordPress website. You can go in here, you can edit stuff. All of the information of your WordPress database is right here. How awesome is that? And like I said earlier, this is awesome if you're learning about database management, because you can go here, create a test website, and start messing with, primary keys and creating just new stuff, like just playing around. Super simple. I think that's awesome. If you click on this button, it'll open up this page to download MySQL Pro. I've never used it, so I can't comment on that. If we go over here to SSL, you can enable this. You can enable kind of like a temporary SSL certificates. So you can click on that to be trusted to bypass your browser security connection warning. I have not had this work with me. So what I thought that it would do is automatically, get rid of the lock. See, but it just doesn't. So what that's supposed to do is bypass your browser security connection warning. Every time I've tried it, it doesn't really work. I use something else, like Really Simple SSL after I install the WordPress website. Really Simple SSL plugin to bypass that, but anyway, it's supposed to do that. So in utilities, you'll find that thing I was talking about earlier where we can open up our dev email address. So if we click this right here, look at this. Check this out. Here's an email from WordPress, quote unquote, telling us that we have a username, Robert, and the password that we used during installation. Now, why is this so cool? Well, take a look at this. If I go to admin, right? If I try to access, by the way, this is how you view the site. And this is how you go to the admin panels. So here's the website, and then here is the admin. Now, if I go to, my username is Robert, remember we are in test2.local/WP login. Let me get rid of all that so you can just see it as clear as possible. Test2/WP login.php. Basically trying to access this website. So Robert, sorry, I know my username, but I forgot that password that I typed in earlier. So I lost my password. Whoops, I typed right. So now I can click generate new password, and it says check the email confirmation. Now where is that email? It's over here. Mailhog, open Mailhog, and here's the new email. See? And now you can change that password. Here it is. Here's the new password. Reset the password. Go ahead, try to log in. Robert. Paste the password, log in, and welcome to WordPress. So this is the default dashboard. How awesome and easy was that? We created a website, a WordPress website on our local machine, and we can now edit. And by the way, this is totally live. So if I go to plugins and I click add new, I can start adding stuff right now. It's downloading to this installation of WordPress like it's on a real server, like it's on SiteGrounds, like it's on HostGator, like it's on GoDaddy. It doesn't know the difference. It's a real website as far as it's concerned. Like you can download BuddyPress right here, click activate, and I have BuddyPress. So this is a very real site that you can start editing right away. All right, but we're not done yet. This is by far my favorite feature of local. You can take this website that only lives on your computer, right? Let's go to the site. So this website only lives on your computer. You can take this live link, click enable. Check this out. Now I have a link that I can send to people right now. Now if I were to send you this link, this live link right here, you would actually be able to go onto this website in real time. This is super awesome because what you can do is you can start working on your local machine for a client. You can create their website, and then you can have them take a look at what you've done so far before you even upload it to their server. How cool is that? One note to mention, the live link does expire after a certain amount of time. I think it's like 6 hours or something. It's no less than 4 hours, but it's not more than 24 hours, that I know. So if it does, all you have to do is disable it, enable it again, and it like hooks up another random number for you to send your client or whoever you want to show your website. Okay guys, so that's all that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. You made it all the way through. Thanks a lot. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video at all, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I want to create a lot more content like this, so any support would be really appreciated. Again guys, my name is Yerain, and I'm out.